They were the teen heartthrobs of the late 80s. And together, Corey Haim and Corey Feldman starred in films like The Lost Boys.
Well, what happens if my mom is dating the head vampire?
And License to Drive.
It is a license to live, a license to be free.
Now in his new Lifetime movie, A Tale of Two Coreys, executive producer Feldman documents how the child stars' lives spun wildly out of control after years of partying, drugs, and alleged abuse by Hollywood insiders.
I tell you, it's one of the strangest nights I've ever had of my career. I went to the Corey Feldman premiere last night of his documentary To Tell All My Truth, The Rape of Two Coreys. And you know, Corey came on California Live last week. He told us he was going to expose the people he claims sexually abused him and his best friend, actor Corey Haim, who died tragically 10 years ago. And he was going to stream this movie around the world for everyone to see. The movie theater at the Directors Guild was filled with his friends, celebrities, people who were there to support him. And then right
a big crowd.
And then right in the middle of the movie, it was so bizarre, he stops the documentary just before he's going to name the alleged abusers.
That must have just caused chaos.
It was weird, and he announces that the film is not streaming around the world.
So he did tell you why he stopped it then?
Yeah, he said it was a technical glitch. It was so strange.
And we're going to have a lot to deal with now and repercussions and how we're going to make sure that everybody gets to see it. So I guess that's our job. But something tells me with the amount of money we made on a one-night sale, we're going to get some offers. And some distributor will pick this up.
Corey is vowing to expose a ring of Hollywood pedophiles through a film he would like to fund to the tune of $10 million. Corey, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Megan, for having me.
I don't think anybody today is doubting that you were in fact a victim of pedophilia. The questioning has been about why wouldn't you just come out and name names if you believe there are active pedophiles hurting little boys right now?
Absolutely.
In Hollywood.
And believe me, I would love the pain to stop today. This is about creating a cycle of awareness. This is about opening people's eyes and minds to the fact that this is a real problem, that it really exists. Unfortunately, I have tried time and time again through the years to get this story out, to get the points across, to get the names out.
We've seen you try. We have spoken about this for years.
Over and over.
But what about the names? Have you ever named names?
I have. I told in 1993, I told the Santa Barbara Police Department when they came to interrogate me about Michael Jackson, trying to convince me literally that my friend was a pedophile. And I told them, no, he's not. I said, in fact, if you want to know what a pedophile is like, I can tell you very specifically because I've been molested. And they said, oh, really, by who? I said, well, I can give you the names, here they are. And they said, okay, well, you know, unfortunately, that's not our area. That's outside of our community, our jurisdiction.
He was the Hollywood child star and poster boy of the 80s.
2, 3, 4, 5 new ones. Now can I have one?
Whether he was playing Mouth in Goonies,
First you gotta do the truffle shuffle.
Teddy in Stand By Me,
Oh, Gordy just screwed the pooch.
or starring alongside his best mate Corey Haim in Lost Boys, Corey Feldman looked like he had it all.
I think the sad part about all this is that in Corey Haim's case, he's not here. Yeah. And when you start passing around secondhand information that's not your story, I think the only person that has a right to tell your story is you.
Agreed.
And that's kind of what I feel.
Yeah, well said. I really
last night at a screening in LA, and in that documentary, people have been talking about this a lot because he's actually naming names of the men who he says sexually assaulted him and his friend Corey Haim when they were child stars. Now, among the names that Corey Feldman named, he says that Corey Haim said actor Charlie Sheen had raped him while they were making the Steven Spielberg movie Lucas back in 1986. Now, Charlie Sheen has denied ever engaging in any improper behavior with Corey Haim. But according to Corey Feldman, he said this wasn't a one-time thing. He said in passing, it wasn't like, oh, by the way, this happened. He went into great detail. He said, he told me, Charlie bent me over in between two trailers and put Crisco oil on my butt and raped me in broad daylight.
I have one speed, I have one gear. Go!
Elfie's
soda pop shop. You think that's some place where you can get some gin, some tonic, some carbonated fizz? No, it ain't that sort of affair. What it was in New York in the 80s, in the 90s, it was a place where a lot of celebrities took their younger underage celebrities to hang out. It was like an underage rave back in the day. But the thing about it, that seems cool, you know what I mean? We're Hollywood kids, we can't go to bars, so let's go to Elfie's. That seems like the place to be, you know what I mean? Well, it ain't so. You know why, Russ?
It was pedophile ring.
Simply put, you just put that in a little bow nice. I was going to keep going, but let's do it. It was a pedophile ring that was fronted by Elfie Hoffman. And now, if you don't know who Elfie Hoffman is, that's fine, because you ain't supposed to know who he is. He's a guy behind the scenes. He's a guy who relies on the all-seeing eye, if you know what I mean. The pyramid. So listen, let me reflect back, Russ. Elfie Hoffman, he is the son of Bob Hoffman. And Bob Hoffman is an executive talent agent in Hollywood. Bob Hoffman runs Hollywood in the 80s. He has guys on there like John Grisham. And I ain't talking the book man, Russ. I know you read books. I ain't talking the guy who makes the novels. I'm talking this guy who used to work with Corey Haim. This guy who used to work with Corey Feldman as a producer. As you say so eloquently, the men in suits. You know what I mean, Russ?
Mm-hmm.
Now look, Elfie was a front to get all of those underage celebrities like Corey Feldman, like Alyssa Milano, like Greggy Gregster, every one of them. Pyramid of justice, no, the pyramid of injustice.
Anybody could have walked by. Anybody could have seen it. At that time, Corey Haim was 13 and Charlie Sheen was 19 when they worked together on Lucas. There's all kinds of allegations in this documentary. It was supposed to be a pay-per-view event online that started at 11 p.m. for $20 a ticket, but they said the stream had still not begun online 45 minutes later. There was all kinds of technical difficulties. So if you weren't at the screening, you wouldn't have a chance to see this yet. But these are the allegations, and there are other people that are named in this documentary. And Corey Feldman's been saying that he was going to name names.
That's horrible. How did he know it was Crisco oil?
I don't know, but this is what Corey Haim had to say. And he was only 13,
that's crazy,
allegedly, at the time.
The police have raised the possibility, Corey, that given his history, drugs could have been involved in the death. What do you think? You can't know, but what do you think?
Well, first of all, let me say this, Larry. In watching everything that's happened today and the reports that have come out, the first thing I need to say is people need to stop. They need to stop jumping the gun. They need to stop saying it's a drug overdose. They need to stop saying, you know, their theories of what they think it is or isn't. Because at the end of the day, until the coroner's report comes out, until we have specific evidence, until we know exactly what the toxicology reports say, nobody knows. And nobody's going to know. We all are aware of the fact that Corey Haim has had a long and detailed drug history and battled addiction for many, many years. I know it better than anybody because I've been the guy stuffing charcoal down his throat when he was ODing. First of all, tried to kill myself at 11 years old. I swallowed a bottle of aspirin. After I woke up vomiting, my grandmother said, "What's wrong?" Because she was a loving woman. I always have respect for her. She said, "What's your appendix? Is your appendix?" I said, sure, whatever, just get me to the hospital. You know, I didn't want to tell her I swallowed a bottle of aspirin. The dumb doctors at the hospital, nobody did any real research. They just took the kid's word, and they cut me open. And I had my appendix removed that day. After that, a year later, I went and got my grandfather's gun that he kept in the chest of drawer, and I put it under my own bed. I had it loaded. And I would literally put it to my temple. I would cock it, it was loaded, I would squeeze as hard as I could, but I just couldn't do it. And then I would throw it on the floor and I would scream at God and say, "F you, how dare you?" This is before I was molested. That's my psyche going into the molestations.
I expose people to magic. I expose them to something they're never otherwise going to see in their boring, normal lives. And I gave that to them. I may forget about them tomorrow, but they'll live with that memory for the rest of their lives. And that's a gift, man. I mean, what's not to love? Especially when you see how I partied, man. It was epic. The run I was on made Sinatra, Flynn, Jagger, Richards, all of them just look like, you know, droopy-eyed, armless children.